Yo, what's good, guys? So today I'm going to be trying something new. I'm going to be starting off with the replay first. I'm going to be playing Time Thief Generators, which I know is probably a huge what the fuck to most of you. But trust me, this is a variation of the deck that I have been playing since it first came out. So let's get right into it. So we ended up running rock, paper, scissors, so we're going to opt to go first. The opening hand for my opponent, who is playing Lunalight, is Magician's Soul, Zephyros, Call by the Grave, Mothman, and Perfume. And in my opening hand, I have Danger Mothman, Nessie, Boss Stage, Boss Quest, and Artifact Sanctum. So, we're going to start off by activating Stage, setting the Sanctum, because we don't want to get rid of any of these cards with our dangers. We're going to be activating Mothman first because we want to special summon him and draw off him. And if our opponent chooses Nessie, then we get to search. We don't really care about our boss quest because we don't have a generator in our hand to make any use of it. So, our opponent was AFK to start with. And yeah, he sniped our Mothman. So we're going to activate Mothman effect. Both of us draw one. He draws Tiger. I draw Call by the Grave. He discards Zephyros, which, you know, is probably the right play. I discard Nessie just so I can get a search off of Nessie. Nessie is going to search me Chupacabra. And now I'm going to set the Call by the Grave because, you know, I want to hold on to that card, especially now that I know he's playing cards with graveyard effects. I'm going to activate Chupacabra. Our opponent is not going to snipe it this time, so we're going to summon Chup. We're going to get a draw off Chup. Nothing that we can really make much use of. So we're going to pass our turn. Our opponent draws Apprentice Illusion Magician for turn. In draw phase, I'm going to be activating Boss Stage, and Boss Stage summons any generator boss monster from my deck as soon as my opponent adds a card from deck to hand. So in draw phase, when they're drawing, that counts. So we're going to activate the second effect of Boss Stage, which is going to bring out our tokens. And then being in attack mode is mandatory. If I had the chance to put him in defense position, trust me, I would, because I have gotten OTK'd by Ultimate Conductor before. So our opponent activates Lunalight Tiger. At this point, I'm not really too threatened by it because I know I can get rid of it with Utgard if I really need to, and I also know I have Sanctum. So my game plan right now is to try to waste as many resources as possible that my opponent has. So he activates Mothman. Unfortunately, oh no, sorry, I mean, fortunately, I do snipe the Mothman. So he activates effect. We both draw one. At this point, I'm thinking it's not really important what I send. Later on, I'm going to realize, yeah, it actually was. So our opponent activates Tenki. I take a quick think. Yeah, I just let it go through. No threats yet. Our opponent normal summons Kaleido Chick. Now, at this point, I know I have to use Utgard, whatever you want to call him, to target the Kaleido Chick and banish her. So he can't use her effect because it's not an on-summon effect, and so he can't bring her back with Tiger. And here's where I realize I fucked up. So I activate Utgard, target Kaleido. My opponent has Called by the Grave, and unfortunately, the Utgard that I discarded off the Mothman is in my graveyard for Called by the Grave. So we're gonna get negated. I'm not panicking yet. I want to see what my opponent has because I want to try to waste his resources, whatever he has in his hand. Try to make him commit as much as possible. He ends up sending the Martin. He activates Tiger, special summon Martin, and at this point I know I can't let my opponent go into the extra deck. I have to stop him now. I let him use as much resources as I possibly can. So before the game gets out of hand, activate Sanctum. Thankfully, he doesn't have Ash or anything to stop it. Bring out Scythe, and my opponent is probably forced to pass turn. Yep. So we draw Doppelgist for turn, which does absolutely nothing. So at this point, I'm trying to think about what I can do to do the most damage possible in this turn. So I switch Utgard into attack, battle phase, swing over Kaleido Chick. Make sure I attack with Scythe and not Chupacabra because Kaleido Chick is at 1500 because of Tenki. So my opponent takes damage, swing with Chup, swing with Utgard. Yeah, now I tribute summon 2. Summon Doppelgist because he's going to be useless in my hand. overlay the two, go into calamities, and at this point my opponent knew he had absolutely nothing left. So, siding done, going to game 2. Obviously my opponent chooses to go first. Let's see. Opening hands for my opponent are Foolish Goods, Serenade Dance, World Wand, which is pretty interesting, Call by the Grave, and Crescendo. Okay. Doesn't look like the best hand, but certainly not the worst. And then in my opening hand, one Time Thief Winder, one Nibiru, which is really good to see, one Sphere Mode, which I'm also really happy to see, Generator Boss Fight, and another dead boss quest, unfortunately. So, our opponent's going to start off with Foolish Goods. He's going to send a Perfume. Yep. He's going to banish, discard, search for Tiger. Now he's going to banish the Serenade Dance, send World Wand from hand, and he's going to summon Kaleido Chick. I have no responses. Kaleido Chick sending Martin. Opponent activates Tiger, special summons the Yellow Martin. Yep. At this point, I'm just really glad he didn't go into into Lambda, and he didn't have Gamma in hand or anything, because I think that's the thing I was probably the most scared of. So at this point, I'm completely calm because I know I have Nibiru. I don't exactly know what he's going to try to commit to, but I'm holding Nibiru for the perfect time. He uses Force Trick to search for Zephyros. Brings back the Tiger to summon the Martin. Links off into Barricade Borg Blocker. Activates Borg Blocker, sending Zephyros from hand. Standard. Using Tiger to bring back Chick. Chick send Martin again. My opponent's bringing back Tiger. Summoning Zephyros. And at this point, I evaluate the field. I see he has 3 Darks. He has 1 Beast Warrior, 1 Winged Beast, and 1 Machine. So obviously, my assumption at this point is he's going to go for Curious. So this I see as the prime time to nib. So, I activate Nibiru. Summon a token under the extra monster zone, just in case, and my opponent is forced to pass turn, which is fantastic for me. What's not fantastic is drawing into another Sphere Mode. Maybe I oversighted, but I don't know. This is one deck that I don't really want to underside for, because if they build their board, I don't really think I have much that I can do against it. So, we're just going to normal summon Winder, we're going to search for Regulator, and we're going to go into the battle phase. Swing over the token, swing for 1800. Next, we're going to main phase 2. We're going to make IP Masquerena. I don't know if this is the smartest thing to do, but it was probably the most necessary, because at this point, my opponent probably knows if I'm making IP, then I have a way to either access my field spell or some way to access more monsters. So we're going to set 2. We set Boss Quest first, just in case this was a Cosmic Cyclone or anything, because maybe he would think the first card that we set is the most important card. But anyways, moving on. My opponent draws Jackal for turn. Activates Tiger. I immediately shotgun the boss fight. Activate boss stage. My opponent draws 1 from boss fight. And that immediately triggers boss stage, which is going to bring out Utgard, the one that tributes to, targets to banish. So we're going to get our tokens from stage. And at this point, I can either use my IP Masquerena to go into a Nightmare Unicorn, get rid of the Tiger, shuffle it in deck, or I can tribute to, target Tiger, and banish it. So, before I even get the chance to, my opponent decides to scoop, and that just about wraps it up. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So, I don't know exactly where I would rank Lunalights right now in terms of whether they're tier 1 or tier 2. They're definitely somewhere in the middle. I think come the new dual overload set that they're actually going to be tier 1, because I think they're going to be able to make a lot of use out of the artifact link and maybe even Union Carrier. I don't know, but I think the deck is about to be a lot more explosive than it currently is. But anywho, onto the profile. So we're playing 1 artifact Scythe. We are playing 2 Danger Chupacabra, 2 Danger Mothman, and 1 Danger Nessie. The reason we're playing this packages is because we're really focused on bringing out the level 4s so we can go into Time Thief Redoer, because I think the advantage you can get from Time Thief Redoer is actually insane. So, we obviously use the Nessie to search for one of these to help bring out level 4s. Then we have 1 Dovulgus, 1 Frody, 2 Hela. The reason for 2 Hela is because just in case you have Utgard in the graveyard or you have any other generator in the graveyard, you can bring out Hela. Then you can tribute a token, special summon a generator, and if your opponent can't out both your generator monsters, the next turn you're free to go into Calamities or whatever other rank 9. Then we have 1 Mardell, 2 Nibiru. The reason we're playing cards like Nibiru in this deck is because this deck has probably not the best board breaking potential. So we're gonna have to play cards like Nibiru just in case our opponent is playing stuff like Lunoi, are playing stuff like Spiral as well. Just so we have some sort of shot to beat them. For another generator boss monster, we have 1 Nidhogg generator boss of ice. For our Time Thief package, we have 2 Bezel Ship, 3 Regulator, and 2 Winder. So the main combo that you want to draw into Regulator, normal summon Regulator, tribute, summon 2 Time Thieves from your deck. So you're summoning Bezel Ship and Winder. Winder on summon searches a not generator, searches a Time Thief card. So you're gonna be searching Time Thief Retrograde, which is a spell trap negate, and it is a counter trap as well. So your opponent can have fun with that. The reason we like this is because this deck hardly loses to Evenly. In case you didn't know, there's an interaction with tokens in Evenly where tokens cannot be banished face down. So if your opponent evenlies you, you don't really have a say in what gets banished. Your opponent evenlies, your entire field gets banished face down, and all your tokens remain. So yeah, that is really, really shitty, and we want to avoid that if possible. And for the last 2 generators that we're playing in the deck, probably the best generator of the deck, Utgard, which is tribute to target 1 card banish. So this is good against spell traps, monsters, field spells, you name it. We're playing 2 Call by the Grave just because we really want our regulator and our field spell to resolve. We're playing 3 boss quests. As you saw in the replay, we ended up opening this card and it was kind of dead. Maybe I'll cut it down to 2. 3 boss stage because this card is the MVP of generators. This card is so good. It just summons a boss monster, summons a bunch of tokens, and you have 5 monsters on board. Miraculously on your opponent's turn. Wow. We're playing 1 Terraforming because searching the field spell is good. Now we have 4 copies of the field spell. We're playing 2 Monstrosity. Debatably could bump this up to 3. But what you want to do with the Monstrosity is you want to activate it, target one of your level 9 guys, so you can either add Interruption during your opponent's turn if you're not feeling too confident with what you currently have, or you can save it for the next turn, have one of your generator guys on the field, target him, special 2, and go into a rank 9 play. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum just to bring out your scythe. 2 evenly matched, as we mentioned earlier, we have to play cards that can break our opponent's board just in case we do lose the dice roll or rock, paper, scissors, whatever it is. So yeah, 2 Nibiru, 2 evenly. 2 generator boss fight. This card is so weird. I love it and I hate it at the same time because you activate it. It's essentially Metaverse, but your opponent gets to draw 1 card. Yeah, it's great that it triggers the field spell, so it's more like a 1-for-1. Like you're not really negging or anything, but also helping your opponent dig deeper into the deck is not the best thing. Next, we have 1 generator boss room, which is like a pseudo Call by the Grave. If your opponent activates a card in response to a generator card or effect, then you get to activate this card, discard 1 card, and the effect of that card becomes both players draw 1 card. So, example, your opponent enters draw phase, draws a card, you activate boss stage. Your opponent chains Twin Twister, discards 1 card, and then you chain boss room. Discard 1 card, the effect of Twin Twister becomes you both draw 1 card. So that way, boss stage resolves, you both draw 1, and everybody's happy. Time Thief Retrograde, I went over. You search it off the Winder typically, and then whenever you have Redoer, this is a free negate, so it stops evenly. It can stop Extravagance, whatever your opponent activates. And the one card that people might not be so familiar with is 1 copy of World Legacy Awakens. So with this card, you can activate it when your field spell resolves to summon tokens. You can make IP Masquerena using 2 of your tokens, and then you essentially have another free interrupt. So you can use your IP to go into Phoenix, or you can go into Unicorn. And well, yeah, let's move on to the extra deck at this point. So yeah, IP Masquerena to go into Phoenix and Unicorn. We're playing 1 copy of Boral Sword just in case. Doesn't really come up, but you never know. 1 copy of BLS because you can actually make this guy pretty easily, and people will have a hard time outing him because you will get the level 7 or higher effect with him. So if you can go into IP Mask Arena, you can activate IP Mask Arena, use your token, IP, and your generator monster to go into BLS. We're playing 2 copies of True King of All Calamities because in case one copy dies, you actually have a lot of opportunities to make a second one. Let's go over the other level 9s, or the rank 9s first. We're playing 1 Phantom Fortress Enter Blastner, however you want to pronounce his name. This guy can banish a card from your opponent's hand, field, doesn't target, pretty good. We're playing 1 Infinitrack Earth Slicer, which you can detach 1 or 2 cards, target the same amount on the field, pop. The last card for the rank 9s is 9 Lives Cap. This is a TCG exclusive, came out in Ignition Assault. So, let's read this card. Your opponent cannot target other monsters you control that were special summoned from the graveyard with card effects. You can detach 1 material from this card and target either 1 level 9 monster in your graveyard or 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it. So, if your opponent has something like a Pankratops, you can actually detach, special summon the Pankratops, and then you have an extra interrupt. You'd also be able to special summon something like a Dingirsu, which isn't as popular anymore after Horror got banned, but yeah, you get the point. Like, it is possible for it to come up. Also, you can special summon your level 9s and they can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So, for our rank 4s, obviously we have Time Thief Redoer, which is why we're playing the Time Thief engine. 1 Perpetua in case Redoer dies. 1 Tornado Dragon to pop back row because I hate back row. And we are playing Abyss Dweller, which is probably the best rank 4 in existence. I mean, this literally hits everything in the meta almost. And we're playing 1 Gallant Granite because we are main decking Nibiru, and this card searches Nibiru. And yeah, that is all for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any suggestions for a deck or you have anything to say, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, and if you enjoyed that, please subscribe. Peace, guys. Thanks for watching.